Welcome to The Cloaked. We are a collective of inquiring minds seeking answers to mysteries both past and present. Join us on our journey to discover that which remains hidden. And now, on with the show.
All right, you all sound good.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, guys.
What's going on?
I don't know.
What is it called? ASMR?
Oh yeah, tingles. Hey guys. Hey, I'm a ghost. I'm a ghost. I'm right behind you. Right behind you. Yeah, hear the tapping. Tap, 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 tap. That's so weird, right? Because I'm listening to myself and it sounds like.
I was going to say, are you enjoying the sound of your voice?
Yes.
Sounds about right.
Though ASMR is a real thing. It's, you get the tingly feeling when somebody whispers in your ear. And you get these like shivers.
There's a bunch of
free song or whatever it is. I think that's music.
anonymous sensory meridian response.
Yes.
It's like a static or tingling.
Yes, it's yeah.
It was like when someone's sleeping and they're like just whispering.
Yeah.
Like,
So when I was little, right? When I was little, one of my grandma's sisters used to do that for me to fall asleep, and I always fall asleep. She was telling me these stories, and I'm just like.
Sounds like you fell asleep while she was trying to talk to you. That's kind of. She's like, hey, it's really important. You're like.
Great story. Oh my god, it was amazing.
my bank account is 169.
Probably she did have several account numbers, but we never found out what they were.
Me all.
She was giving me all this information and I like pass out.
Underneath the oak tree.
My grandma's had these dreams about buried money in the back and her property.
You should go back there.
You have mentioned that.
I have mentioned that. My aunts had the same dream about that, and I was like, very interesting.
Is it in a coffee can?
They don't know where it is. They just know.
I always dream about finding random coins, like tons of coins, but like in dirt. And it just like keeps going and going.
And dirt. I
Yeah.
wonder what that means.
But they're not just like nickels and dimes. They're like different coins. I don't know.
None of that cheap shit.
Exactly.
I'm talking about real
Good
coins. Shit. I'm talking about some like Spanish coins from like the turn of the century.
Sure.
Or like sunken treasure type of stuff. Right? Is that what you're talking about? Is it?
I don't know about Spanish coins, but yeah, like maybe definitely worth more than what's in circulation now.
Some kind of shit, right?
Something good.
So finding money in dreams indicates a recent success or immediate achievement in their waking life.
Or you're broke. Just kidding.
Oh, you're broke.
Or
You
it's
wish you
payday.
could find it.
Or it's payday.
Payday, you're just like, oh, I have money now.
And then it's all gone. Fucking money.
It's all fake money.
It's not real. You can always print it.
Don't recommend that.
Do not print it. The FBI, or I should say, the Secret Service will show up at your house if they can trace it. If they can trace it. Anyways, so what do we have here today? It looks like rain.
Rain?
No, it's not.
I was like, what?
So our today's story is Netta Fornario. I believe I'm saying that correctly. Miss Fornario was I guess she had a very mysterious death. In her story, I guess we can start off with in the late summer of 1929. She was 30, and Miss Fornario had several interests. She was a practicer of the occult, right? And she had a very strange. I mean, I guess at the time, one could say she had a strange fascination with fairies, right? And there was several books at the time kind of spoke up. Again, there were several groups out there. I guess one could say there were like, the occults or new religion that would kind of and speak anything from angels and demons, ghosts, contacting the other side, which to a lot of people is very fascinating to hear about. Only because it's something that we don't know, and especially at that time, not many people knew about. And there was a lot of old books that had been written, like decades and centuries before, that kind of had information like what the other side is about. And a lot of that is pretty interesting. And so for Netta Fornario, she considered herself a student of the occult. This is something that was very interesting. Just like our listeners are listening to this. This is something that's mysterious and strange, and it's a bit of an unknown, and you don't know what it is. You kind of want to know what it's about without having to go too deep. And the group that she belonged to was the Alpha et Omega, which is an offshoot group of the famous Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Now, some of y'all may recognize the name, the Golden Dawn. Some of you may be familiar with the famous name, Pandora.
Aleister Crowley?
Yes, for some reason I can never say his name, so I'll point to you and you'll say it.
I might not even be saying it right. Who knows?
Yeah. So and so we know he kind of is, he comes from the same membership of this cult, and so and in the future we'll definitely have a episode on him, because his story is also pretty fascinating. But anyways, so the group practice this like ritual magic and reading to like tarot, and they kind of did a little bit of the mysticism. And so that's kind of why also again, kind of not to going off course, but that's kind of what Crowley, like why he left, right, the group kind of in a certain way. Definitely didn't like the way things were going. People weren't dedicated. I guess that was one way to putting it. They weren't dedicated. And then I was especially drawn and very fascinated to fairies and fairy folk, right? And it's very interesting, right? Because we don't have a whole lot of information, but the information we do have, it sounds very fascinating. And something that motivated her to take her journey to the island of Iona. I'm not sure if I'm saying that, Iona or Ona, and in Scotland, which is rich with fairy folk tales, a lot of history in that. And so Netta packed, a luggage to head over there to see what was going on, see if she can find this realm of fairy folk. And so she ends up like living in this place, and she met with like a person who was able to give her a place to like or squat, because it wasn't like a hotel or anything, right?
No, I think she just like went up there with
like
people
her own stuff, and then just
I think this place is nice.
And she just walked in and just like took over or something, right? So it's just like, took her shit and just like, hey, look, I'm gonna stay over here. And so she ends up expanding her trip and staying there a little bit longer than she anticipated. And so this is one of her things with that she wanted to do. And again, a little bit on her backstory is she comes from money, right? Like she had money, because she does have a housekeeper, as far as we know. And like, who has a housekeeper? Honestly, like, who has a housekeeper?
People of wealth.
People who have money. That's
she
it.
was when she died. Apparently, she was worth about 25,000 pounds in today's money.
What is that back then, or 'cause that's not too much?
That's not a whole lot,
Like
is it?
$50,000.
Like, did she drain it all, or she like? I don't know. Who knows?
It says here that she packed an enormous amount of luggage.
Yeah. Like, what do
Like
you
an
mean
extended
enormous? Like,
trip.
Like
Did
furniture for a small place. Right?
yeah, she was a little extra on her trip, right? So I guess when she stayed there, right? And so like I guess the first initial night, I guess her, let's see, on the first night on the island, I guess she would go out and explore, and for several hours she had been out there. And so a little bit of concerns were for Miss McRae, who I guess was the landlady. I guess she oversaw the property, and she would, be a little concerned. It was like, oh, this fucking kid is like going out there, and what is she doing? And so, she'll go out there and try to. It looks like she was trying to summon something, right? She was going out there and trying to figure out and call out the fairy folk, or try to summon spirits to be able to open a portal, which is like some of like these. The group that she belonged to had access to some of these books that you would be able to have the ability to summon these demons and open up these portals. Now you can open up these portals. It tells you got to summon these demons, and you have to control these demons. I don't know I don't think that's something you wanna definitely fuck with. Fucking mess with. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna be able to control.
Just do it.
These demons. Like, you're not gonna be able to just.
You do it.
You can do it. I'll stand over here and watch you do it. But I mean, it's something you definitely don't want to like do, because when you start something stuff like that, other people get affected. You know what I mean? Like, you start messing with that, and the people around you, they're totally gonna get affected. And not to drift off so much, but when Crawley started doing this and he started summoning his demons to open up his portal, so he can control them and stuff, neighbors were reporting all kinds of issues with everything from their dogs acting really wild and not normal. There was one story with a neighbor actually went over to Crawley's house and was complaining, like, hey, what are you messing with over here? I have my groundskeeper who has been off beer for so many years, and all of a sudden he's drinking and having these crazy nights, and he tried to attack him. Like, there's a story that all of a sudden this guy is like drinking and try to kill the neighbor. And so the other thing is that he would hear footsteps. He would hear like this giant dog like running around his house, sniffing the doors, trying to get in, and that Crawley would like try to like shush him away, or because thinking it's a dog or some kind of like wild coyote or something,
the hound of hell.
And he would try to like scare it off, and the dog would like growl back at him, and he was like, I don't think it's a dog. Like,
it's not a normal dog.
It's not a normal dog. Yeah, definitely. And so it was one of those things where like, well, what is it? Like, what does it want? What am I summoning? And then you kind of start having to think like, what are you messing with? And so you're definitely summoning things that you don't want to open. You know what I mean? It's something that you definitely don't want to open, because you don't know what's going to come out. And so who knows what happened? Like Netta, like what was she doing out there? Practicing. Because in the area where her body was found, right, was a very specific area where it was considered to be super sacred. Like, you could not build anything on this ground because it was a special ground for like fairies. And I think in a previous episode that we spoke about how, what country was it where they were like, oh, they were very super cautious about where was it Iceland? Right? I want to say it was Iceland, where they're like, the law said this place is sacred, you can't build a fucking road.
Yeah,
because there was like,
it's more of part of the culture there.
Yeah, it's part of the culture where like, oh yeah, they had to like, for that, I think it was for like that piece of road that they were trying to build, they had to like curve around it because you couldn't build it in there.
It was in Iceland.
It was in Iceland, yeah. There was and there's people out there that take it very seriously. You kind of have to like question. Well, if other people are taking it serious, should you take it serious? Like, at what point do you say, it's bullshit, and you just like fucking built there anyway?
Well, they kept having issues building, and then they had to kind of like deal with the ferry thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess from the same story, one person kept like trying to build a house, and things kept happening. The builders they would fall sick, or accidents would happen, and then it was just a continuation of issues, and they were just like spending money trying to build this house, and it just was not happening. And so that means that it may be a coincidence, but it's definitely possible. I mean, there's a lot of things we don't know. But back to Netta here, where she going off course, right? So Netta again, her room was, I guess, at one point was found empty. Initially, the lady was concerned, so Netta often took her walks around the island. Now, Miss McRae assumed that Netta would turn up at some point, right? However, after several hours had passed, Miss McRae became concerned about her guests. So she called on a search to figure out where Netta is, right? To figure out, okay, where did this girl go? And in fact, 2 days of searchers to locate Netta's body, right? And despite the fact that the island is very small, it definitely took a while. So why did it take so long for them to find her body? 2 days. This is a small island, right? Like, why is it?
On a specific path, was she?
I mean, she. From what the landlady was saying is that she would pretty much walk around the edge of the island, like walk around.
So they were just following the area.
They were following where she would normally walk, basically, right? And so they would, and then again, it took them 2 days for researchers to locate her body, despite the fact that this island is small.
She was on like a hillside when she was found.
Yeah, so she was definitely found.
Kind of weird too.
It was very strange. Yeah, her body was located 2.5 miles away from the cottage that she was staying, near the remains of an ancient village which Miss Fornario had expressed interest. So again, there's mention of this this ancient village, right? This sacred place that she was interested in. And so though she had never visited, as access was very difficult, it was within half a mile of this village. Netta was naked except for a black cloak and laying on top of this earthen mound. A cross shape was found beneath her body and had been cut into the sod with a dagger, which was also found near her.
So it was staged.
It sounds like it was staged. Either I don't know. Every time I read that, I think either A, she was performing something, right?
Because she kind of did run around doing stuff like this.
Yeah. Yes. No.
So
she was definitely known for doing things like this. But like, did she carve the thing and then something else happened? You know what I mean?
Well, and then her feet were cut up and bleeding, like she'd been running around barefoot on some like rough surface.
Yes, on rough surface.
And her jewelry,
which is very interesting. What happened to her jewelry?
Her jewelry was blackened, like, so it's tarnished. Silver.
And how does that happen?
Oxidation. She could have taken a bath in mineral water.
Couple of different things, but I mean, because that landlord lady that she was with would say that her jewelry would just tarnish like really fast, and she was just like, yeah, that always happens when I wear it, like
the humidity.
Well, I found something
scientific
else,
yes,
but I don't know if I want to get into it just yet.
So when the doctor examined her body, again, he found accurately determined that either the time or nature of her death, which meant that she could have died at any time from November 17th to the 19th. He put down the cause of death as exposure to the elements or heart failure, like either one.
So basically, they didn't know.
They know it's usually it's like, well, we don't know. She may have died from exposure,
like natural causes,
or she had a heart attack. Yeah,
/ natural causes,
which is like
that.
two. Every time it's just two different things. Like,
yeah.
She died from outside,
Well,
or she had a heart attack.
this is September, right?
November.
So it's already cold.
Yeah.
It can snow.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that lady sent people looking for her, is because
of the
she
elements.
usually is out there,
Yeah.
but it was kind of cold and it wasn't really like a good time to be outside.
So one of the things that happens when you get hyperthermia is during the final stages. You start stripping your clothes off because you think you're overheating.
Yeah, and you're not.
You're cold.
But I mean, she's on a small island. She's not like on a mountainside lost. You know what I mean?
It's
like
not
she could
like
just go home.
She could eventually, yes.
So I feel like that's
It's like
unlikely.
she was outside, and oh my god, just go fucking inside. Your house is like right there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she was used to walking long distances, so it's not like it's far for her.
Yeah, this is almost 100 years ago. So I mean, people.
This is when people actually walked. Yeah.
Well, there's a possibility that she had health issues.
She was crazy.
Well, no.
She
Possibly.
was out there trying to heal herself.
What?
No, go on.
Oh.
No, I was like...
So, one of the things that can cause jewelry to tarnish
go.
is being heavily acidic in your body, which is caused with people who have maybe type 1 diabetes. Ketoacidosis.
Okay.
So if she had that, one of the symptoms also of people who are diabetic, like if they're having issues, they can act drunk or they can become very disoriented. So, and she didn't believe in doctors.
Right.
So she could have had something like that, was not being treated, which I don't even know what kind of treatment was available then, but
not much. I mean,
if you're going into like a diabetic shock or something like that,
right,
and you're out there like in the elements,
yeah, and
you're disoriented, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what did they have then for people who were diabetic? Like not much.
Just fucked.
Like, here, eat right.
I don't think they had insulin.
Well, for type 2, but type 1, it's
yeah.
really just insulin is all you can do. So,
assuming did she have type 1, or I mean, what are we?
Well, that's one
just a guess
theory because of the jewelry that she has tarnished. Yeah. When she wears it,
or she was being plagued by spirits.
Or yes, because what happens when jewelry that you're not wearing randomly tarnishes?
I don't know.
I don't wear jewelry.
Huh?
I don't wear jewelry.
I mean, I do, but mine's
like
not tarnished.
If it tarnishes while you wear it, it's usually like over time, right?
Right.
It's not usually like overnight.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of weird. Or if you're not wearing it and it just tarnishes overnight.
That means something's touching it or passing through or in the area. Energy-wise, right? Like a spirit or...
I don't know what would cause it, but like maybe like humidity or something in the air. Like if it's just nothing has changed.
Yeah. But if she's wearing it and walking around and about, for it to turn so fast.
Or it can be something evil.
Cuckoo.
That's what I'm thinking. She was plagued by spirits.
Also,
she's summoning something that she's not supposed to be messing with.
Because what's one thing that usually accompanies demons?
Energy? Ghosts?
The smell of rotten eggs. Sulfur. And sulfur can also tarnish. Sterling silver.
Yeah.
So if she was doing something with the occult.
Well, the robe that she was found wearing is supposed to be like indicative of like somebody a high order in that.
Yeah, high
group
ranking.
she was in.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, what about her feet? Like, did she fall down? Was she running in some kind of like bad ground where it cut her up, like rocks or something? You know, like what was she running on that her
she had
feet
scratches
got
on her body too.
Yeah.
Like not just the feet.
She was very familiar with the island by this point, because she was engaging on daily walks.
Mm-hmm. And it's not a big place.
Yeah. So is it possible that she became disoriented and lost, and this just succumbed to the bad weather?
Well, there's
and also where are her clothes? Her clothes weren't found.
Maybe she just went out like that.
Yeah, it's possible.
Also, but with the landlady said that's not how she saw her. So
it's a nosy landlady.
Well, yeah, when you're it looks like they know everything, right? Yeah. They're always watching. I think they're selling drugs or something like that. You know, you never know. But I mean, they're always like trying to see what's happening with like the people that they're staying in their property. You know, kind of want to know who's staying in your property. You know, a serial killer or something like that.
It doesn't mean that you need to spy on them.
You know,
she went out. She wasn't wearing any clothes. I don't know.
I didn't think it was weird. I didn't call anybody.
Did you guys hear about that Airbnb?
Which one? There's so many stories about these Airbnbs. Like the guy who was eating people.
What?
Oh, okay, never mind. So which was yours?
No.
So what's yours about?
So these people show up to their Airbnb and they like go throughout their day, whatever. The next morning they're just looking around and they notice like blinking light. They notice that there's a camera in their alarm clock. So they're like, what the hell? So they start looking around and the entire house is wired up
with cameras.
What? So I don't know how.
Yeah.
But I mean, at what point?
It wasn't like hidden, or they weren't like obvious cameras. They were hidden cameras.
Yeah, but they were all over the house. In every single room.
Like privacy.
Obviously.
Privacy.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would.
Well, I mean, you're also like having people fucking stay at your place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like,
I'd rather have property, like own property, and then use that as Airbnb than using my own fucking house.
Like where you currently live.
Yeah, too. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's that. Yeah.
It's not like you're renting a room at a hotel.
Buyer beware. That's what I feel like. You know, it's.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Just go to a whole fucking hotel.
I mean, they already have all your information, so if anything goes missing.
Yeah.
I mean, people that own like condos and stuff, like it's rental property.
Yeah.
And they just Airbnb that, like that's fine. You know what I mean? But like, it's your own house.
Or even timeshares. You think about
it.
It's the same thing. Like somebody could rig something and you wouldn't even fucking know. Because it's timeshare.
Still terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do, man. I mean, I got nothing to hide, but it's still...
Yeah. Yeah,
it's just pretty weird. Like, because you can think it's for security of their stuff, but like, what if it's not?
Yeah, what are they doing with that stuff after I leave?
Yeah, what?
What are they doing with that stuff?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's in the black web. Or the dark web.
Or like, are the mirrors like...
You gotta touch the mirror. You gotta touch the mirror.
Gotta touch the mirror to see if it's two ways or not.
Yeah. You know that trick? The fingers meet, right? I think that's what it is. If the fingers meet, then it's...
If it meets or it doesn't meet. I don't remember.
I remember. I want to say it's if it meets.
Why are you poking my eye?
Just trying to find out if you're a two-way mirror.
Are you a two-way mirror?
Just a reflection of you.
I mean, who knows? I mean, ooh.
Just a what now?
I'm just a reflection of you.
Hipsters.
So, I mean, and so here's the other thing. So her practitioners, of course, the Alpha and the Omega, were convinced that she was in fact killed.
Psychically attacked.
Psychically telepathic attack from someone else miles away. I was like, what?
They're doing
That's a thing. People believe
yes,
that.
no, yeah.
I mean,
it's real. It's a real thing that people believe.
Remote viewing.
Fucking
Remote
people
viewing,
up.
yeah.
It's the men that stare at goats.
Yes, that's an awesome movie with George Clooney. So
He killed the goat.
What? I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
She hasn't seen
God
it.
damn it.
No. I mean, that's a part of the movie, but it's hilarious. Actually, I think
There's a
I
lot
have
of goats around here too.
For some reason in Alaska, there's a lot of goats.
What do you
Goat
tell
herds.
people that?
Huh? That in Alaska, there's a lot of goats. There's a goat farm, like not down the street.
Yeah, there sure is. There's like at least 10 goats.
I mean,
My neighbor.
that's more than fucking 10. I think
Your
it's
neighbor,
like
the goat farmer.
I think there's like
I think
24.
I think he's just trying to keep his grass like nice and
I
neat.
mean, more than likely.
That's what you need.
But there's shit all over them.
Get you a goat. You don't have to mow the lawn.
And they naturally fertilize it.
I know. Yeah, keep it
Ew.
green. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what do you think that something like that could have happened? Somebody like telepathically fucking killed Netta? Do you think that's like a possibility?
There's also the whole thing that she used to go into trances and they thought maybe she was like astral projecting.
And she just left her body and never came back.
And,
Yeah.
And then she was out in the elements for too
No,
long.
that's-
and
that's- there- I have
because they
several-
said she would go into weird trances
Yeah.
for like hours.
I have several stories about people who have gone to, who have claimed that have done astral projection. Pretty weird shit. There's a guy who went up to the mountains somewhere in China and in what do you call it? One of those sanctuaries for Buddhist monks, and he went up the hill and he was going onto this like cave, right? That was really well known for its like solitude and practicing. And so this guy goes up there, and there were every other day they would send someone to make sure he was doing okay, and he had food and stuff like that, water. And they, I guess like they forgot about him. So they were like, hey, let's go check on that guy.
It's been a few days.
It's been a few days. So they go and check on him, and he's dead. But he's like in the pose, like meditating.
No.
And he's dead. Yeah, like that.
Like
He's in
rigor
that
mortis
pose.
and-
Yeah. Like he had died. But they couldn't figure out if he didn't have a stroke, no brain aneurysm, not a heart attack. He didn't just die. Listen, he wasn't bitten. Nothing. They couldn't find shit on him.
He just passed without
He
saying
just
anything.
passed. Yeah. And then they were thinking, well, he was considered like a master, right? And so they're thinking, fucking
He just
like
fucking ascended.
he ascended like out of his body. He just went on, like never came back. Like, and I was like, what if he's still out there
He's just
trying
like,
to come
I'm
back?
better than this. Just
And
like
then
leaves.
his body's gone.
He's like, oh,
The fuck.
what am I
Uh-oh. You know what I mean?
Not again.
Not again. Damn it, where did I go? You know what I mean? Because that would suck.
It's like I forgot where I parked, but like,
He's hitting the button. In the
where'd
parking
I?
lot.
Damn, where'd I leave it again?
Like, where am I?
See, damn it.
What level was I on?
What's- There's a red and a blue? Fuck.
He's pulling that Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Seinfeld. Oh, Seinfeld. Great show.
Shout out.
Shout out to Seinfeld. Oh, my God. Amazing. Amazing stuff. I was just thinking, like, if Jerry was trying to date Netta, she's
What's the deal with the occult?
she's an occultist. An occultist. Yeah, one of those. Oh, it's horrible. But I mean, they even before her leaving, what was she staying back? Wasn't in because she was living in a flat, right? And was in London or something
Prior to
coming
going to
into
Scotland?
yeah. Because I want to say she was
She probably had an estate if she had a housekeeper.
yeah.
But she did have an estate.
What if she was running out of money, right? And she like, shit, I'm not gonna afford this fucking place. I should like bounce
She was a
before
con artist.
Nobody thinks her landlord was a little too like.
nonchalant about it.
Well, I don't know. The way I read it, it sounded like they had like a weird friendship, and I'm like, I don't know.
Because she befriended.
Like
right?
they would trade stories and stuff about like what they knew, like because the landlady had stories about stuff she knew,
right?
And then the other one was like really into the occult, so it's almost like they were
sharing information.
Yeah.
But by this, like they meshed together based on this information that they knew about.
Also, Netta would write, like she would write different things, reviews and stuff, and she actually used a pen name.
She had a Yelp account.
She had a Yelp account. I don't know. She had like one of the things that she wrote a review on something, but she would do different writings, and one of the pseudonyms that she used was Mac Tyler.
What?
Like that was her name, like
Mac Tyler.
But what's the landlady's name?
Oh.
It was spelled M-A-C.
Yes, Mac Ray. Her name is Mac Ray.
Miss McRae.
Yeah.
McRae. McRae.
Interesting.
Wow.
She's trying to steal her identity. She was a con woman.
She was a con woman. I mean, well, if you go that route, what do you think? What do you mean, like a con woman? Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Because if it was only £25,000 equivalent, it's not that much money. I mean, you could live off that for a little while.
Yeah. And that's not her housekeeper. That's like her accomplice.
Could be.
And then they were going around, and she was trying to con some of the people from the occult. And then the people in the occult found out, and they fucking killed her.
It was a gang murder.
They was like, hey, this bitch over here just took some money and hasn't paid.
She's claiming to be one of us.
She's claiming to be one of us. I lent her money for like fairy dust, and she didn't bring me shit. I'm still waiting. She said that shit is on back order. I don't know if I believe her.
She brought me baby powder.
I know baby powder. My housekeeper cleans my baby, and I know what baby powder is.
Wow.
People wiping your ass. Damn, dude. That's some bougie shit right there.
So I mean, if you think about it, like that is possible, right? Because what if they all had given her money for like whatever reason, like she promised, or some kind of service is not rendered,
well,
and and
they believe in a tarot card, right?
Yeah,
and seances. So,
what if she was doing these tarot readings?
They were wrong.
Well, she was claiming that she could heal people telepathically.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you charge for this service? You know what I mean?
Hey.
And then people are like, hey, I'm still dying over here. Like, my liver's still failing. Like,
yeah. Yeah, dude. Like, what if that was it? And they're like, where the fuck is the results, bitch?
Just like the Ozarks.
So then they followed her, right, to fucking like this island, and then they like kill her. I don't know how, but they fucking kill her, and everyone's in on it, and they're like, nah, we think she died based on the elements.
What's the name of the island again?
Iona Island. Iona.
Iona, Scotland.
Scotland. Shout out to Scotland. We have some listeners in Scotland.
I want some actual scotch.
Some real scotch. None of this shit that we have over here. Some real shit. Send us an email. We'll be in contact.
Write a letter.
That's like right on the tip.
Right on the tip?
Yeah.
Of Scotland. What's how big is it? This tip.
It's a Scottish Gaelic. I'm trying to see if there's anything like poisonous out there.
Oh, like snakes and shit?
Berries.
Spiders.
Something that she may have consumed.
Leaves.
Something that like they may have given to her.
Barracudas.
Heat-seeking missiles.
According to our president, there should be a...
I like how you always get me, Pandora. Pineapple Express, shout out.
We quote that way too much.
No. one of the best movies out there. It should have won an Oscar, at least.
Are you talking about the movie where they get their foot stuck in the windshield?
Yes.
Every time.
Hey, it's one of the best movies out there. It's funny. All right, it's funny. But I don't know, man. Like, I doubt. I don't know. You think she made contact with like a demon, and somehow went to the other side of this realm. Fucking gets killed, and then her body gets dumped back. Because that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Fucking happened. Like, she was murdered on the other side of the realm, and her body got dumped back.
What if it were the actual groundskeeper that like killed her? And then
bitch walked on my grass.
You mean the landlady?
Yeah, and then staged it to look like it was the occult, so she would be like free of anything. Because what happened to all her stuff?
Oh, I don't know. What is like all her jewelry and clothes? And
she was like, I want some of that tarnished silver jewelry.
That dress. I like that dress. I want to fucking kill her with that dress.
She was crazy. And then, I mean, she's the one that like led the search, right?
She did lead the search. So what if she killed her before the search? Said, "Oh, she was still around here at this time."
Well, they said she could have been dead for like 2 days.
Yeah.
So, pretty much like from the day she went missing.
So she could have like.
So she's probably the last person saw her.
Yeah, and then like lead them in the opposite direction while she still has someone staged.
That's why it took so long. She had the body, and then she just like planted it out there, dug a cross in the dirt, and was like, "Oh,
yeah,
oh shit, look at that."
Oh,
she was doing some weird stuff.
Yeah. Well, she was out there, like, obviously practicing weird shit.
See, that doesn't help her case either, because
really
everybody
doesn't.
already thought like this lady's kind of weird, you know, like, and then you find her in a weird situation, like nobody really questions that it was somebody else.
So this is what I'm seeing and what I'm reading is, so their relationship went on for many weeks, right? This arrangement between them, right? They discussed different things, various occult practices, and it went out without a problem. But something changed in the summer into autumn. The first indication that something went wrong is that Netta sent out a cryptic message to her housekeeper in London, and stated that she would be out of communication for a while because she had a terrible case of healing to work on. What the fuck does that even mean? I know we've talked about that, but that was a weird message for the housekeeper to say that was weird. Again, this is a housekeeper that Netta obviously communicated with and knew, right? This is somebody that they know each other, right? Because she lives with her. So for her to say this is a weird message.
Well, if she considers herself a healer, she's either trying to heal herself or heal someone else, and it's really bad, whatever it is.
But
right?
I'm what I'm thinking is, here's the thing. What I'm thinking is, like, why is she? Hold on, this thing is kind of lagging.
Okay, so there was no autopsy, right?
Right.
It's 1929. I mean, what?
All right, so there are a couple of poisonous plants and funguses in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Poison hemlock.
Hemlock.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Foxglove, which grows on the sides of roads. Lords and ladies. And nightshade. I mean.
Oh, nightshade.
You can be confused for a tomato.
Yeah.
Or it is part of the tomato.
Yeah, it's
It's
part of the same family. Yeah.
Eggplant.
Yeah.
Monk shot. Shoot.
Ooh, that purple looking thing?
Yeah, it's a flower. And then
Well then.
mushrooms. There's 7 different types of deadly mushrooms in that area.
So don't do shrooms there.
Death cap. Deadly web cap. Destroying angels.
Oh shit. That's like some hardcore names.
The funeral bell. You sound like bands.
Straight up, like
The funeral bell? That sounds
Good
like an
band names.
amazing group. I'm sure someone out there has that.
Funeral bells.
The funeral bells.
Fool's funnel.
Fool's funnel.
Panther cap.
Panther cap. What does that even mean?
Angel's wings.
That's a good one.
It's gonna send you to
It's gonna send you straight to
Angel's
heaven.
Wings Express.
Express. Sounds like a horrible business name that delivers.
All right. So another
Bad
thing
stuff.
that could have happened is that, yeah, maybe she was out in the woods.
Maybe.
She's not from the countryside, so
This is also true.
she may have seen some of this stuff and be like, oh look, there's berries.
Oh, let me taste one.
Like, let me make a little potion or some healing thing and then just like
She accidentally poisoned
ingested
herself.
stuff.
Accidentally poisoning himself, yes. Also.
That's possible.
Here's the thing, though. On the morning of the 17th, McRae found Netta in a frenzy packing her luggage.
Fuck this place.
She informed the landlady that she needed to return back to London immediately. Several individuals were attacking her telepathically, she stated.
So it's coming from...
This is coming from the fucking... Not from Netta at this point. This is
Well, not from there, but maybe from back home? Why is she going back home?
I don't know. She's trying to hunt whoever's going to attack her psychically or telepathically. McRae told Netta that it would be impossible to travel that day, that the boat on the mainland did not run on Sundays. Netta became enraged and retreated to her room. After several hours, she came back out and calmly announced to McRae that she had changed her mind and would be staying. And then she went on her usual walk. That was the last time, allegedly, she saw her, walking out. So,
So this sounds like she's fearing somebody who is of this earth. Just they're doing something telepathically. So somebody back home, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, honestly, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint on what exactly she, why she's running away.
So I just did a quick calculation. 25,000 pounds in 1929 is the equivalent to $1.49 million today.
So she's doing all right.
She's doing decent.
I mean, she had money to spend.
She had money to spend. Well, it's not bad. I mean,
so she could run around.
She could run around and do whatever.
In the woods at night.
Chasing fairies, and who fucking knows? I mean, these little islands around Scotland, a lot of them have this belief that there are fairies. On the previous episode that we did, we talked about the lighthouse, and that lighthouse actually, they struggled to build that lighthouse because of the same issue, because of fairies, and they were having issues financially. They had issues structurally, trying to build the lighthouse. So there was a lot of issues with building that. But what are you guys closing thoughts on this? What do y'all think?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the lighthouse thing again, because we don't know what happened to those people either. It almost seems like something drove them to put themselves in harm's way, right?
Yeah.
But there was no body in that case, or bodies, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in this case, it almost seems like she also put herself out there, like, in the elements, and just, like, I don't know. It seems kind of weird.
It is very weird. I always have the feeling that anybody who encounters, like, anything that has to do with fairies or, like, sacred grounds or things like that, always either up and vanish or have, like, the most bizarre experience with, like, little people, black-eyed kids, fucking gnomes, like all these
fucking
weird
gnomes.
like all these fucking weird things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people attribute that to, again, we go into like this is why everything I feel like that we ever have talked about intertwines with everything, because we talk about like dimensions, we talk about fucking aliens, which also, what do they manipulate? They're from a different realm, manipulate dimensions to come into this world, you know. there's always been talks about like these little gray people. What if these little gray people have been seen as fairies or gnomes or
So you
doors?
think maybe she was having alien type encounters? Because I had read, I can't find it, but I had read somewhere that there was like blue light seen around the time of her death too.
Yeah, there was these flashes of light.
So maybe she was getting something telepathically,
but it was
not
alien
really
related or something. Yeah. Because the people always like, oh, they saw angels, but then people always say, well, people who have been taken or have seen or spoken to these aliens, they describe them as these tall Nordics. You know, if you were to see somebody like that, then you think, oh, angel. But then what if you saw something that was reptilian-like, or lizard or insect-like? You think demons, right? If you didn't have anything to base, you think those are demons, and it's kind of like, well, what if this is all within the same? It's all the same book, and just we're trying to basically best describe what we're seeing, right?
Do you find it weird that there was a dagger nearby and it wasn't used on her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if it was like a murder, you would try to.
That's why the cause of death was so
bizarre,
ambiguous.
so out there.
Just the only injuries that she sustained were to the bottom of her
little
feet.
cuts,
and just small cuts here and there throughout her body, but they weren't cuts from the blade.
Yeah, they call it scratches, or more like running on sharp shit. You know what I mean? Not
But there's nothing that she can run on, or run through, that would have anything sharp. I mean, is there bushes that have thorns?
Well, she was found in the woods on a mound, right?
Yeah.
She was running through trees.
Maybe there's rocks,
branches, right? But I mean, where's she running from?
Yeah.
And then how did she die? What was the actual cause?
I mean, if she was dead.
They guessed it was heart failure, but I don't think it really was.
It sounds
heart
like
failure.
they were like, well, that's probably one of these.
It's either the elements or heart failure. We can't determine.
Yeah.
Because it's undetermined. They just put that because they really couldn't put anything. They can't leave it blank. They really can't. That's why they put either or.
Our best guess is.
Yes.
Because is it possible she OD'd on something?
Like some kind of hallucinogen to put herself under so she can experience.
She was undergoing trances. I mean, either she's really good at meditating or she's taking stuff.
Yeah. Because that's one way people have described that
she can afford it.
Yeah. It's also, cocaine was very, very ready available, right?
Yeah, but it wouldn't give you any psychoactive effects.
Oh, okay.
Cocaine wouldn't
what about
put you in a trance.
Shrooms or something, right?
Yeah, psilocybin, yeah, but I mean, you normally find those under cow turds. You just don't find those
anywhere.
Yeah, that you need.
Or maybe she had it with her from London. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, how ready available were drugs back then? In her time.
Something
frame.
Opioid.
Like an oh yeah, was that a thing? Poppies.
Yeah. I mean, it was a thing, but you saw that more.
You would see
America.
You would see that on her arm, right?
But she's part of this order.
You were smoking.
Yeah,
okay.
You would smoke opium back then.
If she's part of this order, I'm maybe it's just a little more used in those circles. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Maybe they
vaped the opium.
Vaping.
they vaped the opium.
That would be a good book.
What?
Like drugs in the early 20th century. Because a lot of the stuff wasn't illegal yet, so...
Yeah, people were doing, hard shit.
Yeah.
This is when coke was actually in coke.
Yeah, you could buy cocaine, you could buy morphine over the counter.
Some of this shit came in,
Some
bottles.
of it was, medicinal. It was just
it was medicinal.
You have a cough, take some fucking, I don't know.
Have you guys heard of Thorthium? I think that's what it is.
Thorthium?
No.
Yeah, it was radioactive water that they would tell people for energy.
Fuck? Radioactive water.
Yeah, some guy died and they exhumed his body a couple decades later and it was still radioactive.
Oh shit.
Dang.
He did not become Spider-Man.
It's stuff that used to be used for hair dye too, lye and I don't know, random stuff that would kill people.
Yeah, the glow in the dark watch arms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and they found out that you can actually take that.
Well, no,
and then create a fucking bomb out of that.
Oh yeah, they were using it like the women that
to
would
paint.
paint it.
Yes.
So it was
yes.
paintbrush.
Yeah.
So they all ended up getting cancer. From it.
Yeah.
Sucks.
That sucks, right? Yeah, all these clockmakers dying of cancer.
Yeah.
Without, and they were, you know.
The Mad Hatters.
The Mad Hatters, yeah. Literally Mad Hatters. Crazy turn of the century. Oh, crazy.
Shit you could get away with.
Also that, yeah.
Literally get away with. Murder. So, I mean, those are my closing thoughts. Anybody else have an epiphany of anything?
I don't know. For me, there's not enough information to get like a definitive answer. Yes, we have a dead body. Yes, there's a dagger. Yes, there's a cross underneath her.
Yeah, very all weird things.
Yeah, she's naked.
Everything points to
she's
weird.
Naked.
But
She's a cloak.
She's linked to the occult in some sense. Mm-hmm. But we don't have a suspect.
We don't have anybody we can pinpoint.
We do. It's the kukui.
It's the kukui.
That's the suspect.
The chupacabra.
The chupacabra. Or the boogeyman on the other side of the veil. And with that, we conclude our episode. Tune in to our next episode. We'll have, since it's Halloween coming up, well, not soon, but I mean, it's October, and you know, with it's that month, and we have some pretty good stories to come up with.
We're gonna have guests.
Huh?
We're gonna have guests.
I'm trying to get a guest. I'm in the works with 2 people, so we can get them to come in and give us some stories, and that would be pretty dope for our listeners. But we definitely have other topics to talk about for this month. I mean, we have some good stuff. More to come about the Crowley. That's a really good episode, and we'll definitely we'll continue from there. Please rate us on Facebook and on Twitter and on iTunes and any other podcast provider. And with that, guys, have a good day. What the fuck are you looking at? What is that?
They live in masks.
That's a mask?